This is an instructional video teaching you how to use the 3M system for the APC Finder. If you log in your course to the 3M link, you should come up with this main screen. I want you to put the age at admission, 85, and over here under Product, we're going to go to APC Finder and then Continue. The screen that you come up with from here shows the ICD-10 primary diagnosis screen. To go through a couple of examples for you, I'm going to type in S0181XA. And I can choose Enter. I can hit Enter on my keyboard, or I can choose OK. That is a laceration without foreign body of other part of head, initial encounter. I now want to add a procedure. The procedure I want to add is 12011, which is a simple repair. On 3M Encoder, you see all these buttons. I can hit CPT, and it will come up on my screen to show me it's the simple repair of superficial wounds of face, ears, eyelid, nose, lips, and or mucous membranes, 2.5 centimeters or less. If I close that screen, it takes me right back to this. I want to go compute. Now for APCs, that's how we get paid, correct? So we have the diagnosis, now we have the procedure, we want to compute. Always use the bill type number 1, hospital outpatient. And this is what happens with our screen. Now this nosology message or edits comes from the CCI, the Correct Coding Initiative. And it says, code also associated condition or conditions from these code ranges when reporting my first code here, my ICD-10 code, during the same encounter. Okay, that helps me. And it says it references something from the tabular. Makes sense. It also helps me and says, hey, use an additional code from the V to the Y's to indicate the cause of injury. Again, it references the tabular. So there's some little helpful hints for me, and I say, okay. Here's my APC Finder screen. If I scroll down here, all of this red is our reimbursement information. It tells me that it falls under APC 05051. It tells me the total amount that I'm going to get paid. It gives me a lot of information, and it tells me some status or inlier payments, are applicable as well. I want to go to the next patient. I have an example that can show you the CCI edits. And what happens with the CCI edits is that it means we're doing multiple procedures at once, which happens a lot. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to put this person at 85 again. My APC Finder is on, and I'm going to go continue. This time my primary diagnosis is going to be D128, so I enter that in and say OK. Benign neoplasm of rectum. I'm going to add a procedure, and the procedure I want to add is 45384. If I say OK, it tells me, if I go to CPT to get my code, if I scroll up to my main heading, it says colonoscopy flexible, and now I scroll down to finish reading, 84, with removal of tumor or tumors, polyp or polyps, or other lesion or lesions by hot biopsy forceps. Okay? That's what I wanted. Here's the deal. We're going to remove another polyp. So I want to add another procedure. I want to do 45385. Oops, I got to type the right number. 45385. And say OK. We also removed a tumor, polyp, or lesion by snare. So we had something removed by hot biopsy, had something removed by snare. Now I want to compute. Again, the bill type is going to be 1. I've got some things happening here on the screen. First of all, here pops my NCCI edits, or my National Correct Coding Initiative edits. It says you have coded 45385 in addition to one of the following codes. And they're right, I added it with 45384. So that one right there, yep. When I scroll down, it says, hey, the Medicare NCCI edits consider this separate reporting of codes that are components of the comprehensive procedure if billed for services provided to the same beneficiary by the same physician on the same day. These codes will be rebundled by your Medicare payer, and payment will be based on the code 45385 only. So they're only going to pay the snare and not the hot biopsy. If these codes represent, number one, a different session, different surgery, different site, different lesion or injury, then the use of an appropriate modifier on that excluded code will differentiate the services provided and will notify the payer to bypass this edit. Looking at these two procedures, the hot biopsy and the snare, remember we just read that edit. They will only pay the snare. They will not pay the hot biopsy forceps unless you really did do both. And that's what this NCCI edit is built in to help us with. Okay? It says if you really do want both, then put a modifier and show both of them. It tells you 45385 falls into this APC, 45384 falls into this APC. It'll tell you right now they're going to line reject and not pay this procedure code, but they will pay this much for that code unless we put that modifier. Now I paused my screen a minute and went back on the 3M system and I plugged in a modifier with these two codes. I put in again the same diagnosis. I put the D128. I put in the same two procedures, but this time I put a modifier on. And you can see here it says with the hot biopsy forceps, I put in modifier 59, distinct procedural service. And up here it tells me, it gives me a little screen that says modifier 59 is reported. Consider reporting a different modifier if more appropriate. And you can see the X modifiers here. I could go back, read up on one of those, and see which one of those would be better, if at all possible. And now as I scroll down to look at this red area for reimbursement, you can see that I'm going to get paid this much for one, and I'm going to get this much for the other. So here, both of those are paid. And this is the situation that would happen if I did have a polyp removed by snare. For some reason, the snare wouldn't work for the next one, and so we removed a polyp by the hot biopsy forceps. Here's how you can use that APC finder to look up dollar amounts for your 321 homework. Thanks.